All right, today's a short one, but a good one. We get into finding your why, not just in business, but in life. And we talk a little bit about the techniques we've used with clients over the years and in our own businesses to help us navigate through the tough times. All right, we're back, everybody. We were going to turn the New York City episode with Sean into a two-part and discuss your why for business and life and everything else. We decided to end that one. So if you watched a few of these in a row and are wearing the same clothes, too bad, tough shit. I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to go change. So anyway, to pick up where we left off.
We're just like those people at your retreat who only brought one pair of underwear.
Yeah, I've been down in this basement for weeks. I haven't brushed my teeth or anything. So I know you had some thoughts on this, and this is a super important thing in business. People get into things for obviously to make money and other reasons like that. But for anything to be sustainable, you really have to be into what you're doing, and essentially you have to find your why.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll touch on not necessarily the why from the client aspect, but the why that I need to be asking as a web designer, as a developer. And a lot of it comes down to like even my sales pitch or my conversations. Previously, in like the last couple of years, I was sticking more to the technical term of things, like I can build you this, or I will design this, or and from the client's point of view, they don't really care about the technical aspect of things. They don't really care about the design. They don't care about the website itself. Their goal and what they want to hear is they want you to be focused on their reason why. They want to know how you can turn their dream and their vision and their baby and their life that they want to create into something that's going to be able to function and profit for them. So ever since I started changing the tune and the tonality of my messaging, I've been getting a lot better response. So instead of me being like, hey, do you need a new website for your business, or I'd love to be able to create this for you, I just ask them questions like, hey, I saw a post, or I saw that you're looking for a website. I would love to discuss being able to turn your vision, your dream into a reality. And then I also emphasize, there's a lot of people that were going to be able to build you a website or be able to do this for you. And what we specialize in is turning these dreams into realities. And that's the biggest thing that people want to hear, is they want to be able to know that what they're passionate about is not just going to be able to be created onto a design. They want to know that your passion is there as well. And I think the biggest part of that is you need to know what your why is. As a marketer, as a developer, as a brand specialist, as a email marketing, as a product manager, you need to be able to own your why. Like, why are you in this business? Right? If you're only in this business to make money, then it's going to come across as it's the only thing you care about, is that you want the client to make the money. And from all the meditation that I've done to all the intimacy training I've gone to, talking to therapists and having the coaches that I've had, I found that when you're true and authentic to yourself, people feed off that energy. They know what's going to be coming up. So if your mindset, your energy, your why is I want money, they're gonna feed off that like fucking Wolverines, little hyenas. I mean, oh yeah, that's what he wants. So getting very toned in on your why. And I'm sure, Justin, you've had a why as to why you got out of the military and out of what you've been doing and doing into this. And I'm sure it's not obviously. I mean, I won't speak for everybody, but everyone wants to make money. You're in a business because you want to make money. But if that's the only why, you're never going to succeed.
I think it meets somewhere in the middle, right? So there's the people out there that are like, hey, you have to do what you love and find what your passion is. Well, sometimes that's not sustainable. There's a lot of people that like doing things that don't pay any money. And let's face it, to survive in society these days, you have to earn money to have a decent life. Like you said, a client can see somebody coming a mile away if they're just in this for the money. There's those people that like commute long distances. They hate their job, but it pays good, so they stick with it. And then there's people over here that aren't earning enough to make a good living or support their family necessarily, or have as many options as they'd like to have, I should say. But they're following their passion. It's somewhere in the middle. I do believe that you can pick something very adjacent to what you want to do and then turn that into something that ends up being lucrative. And then by default, you end up loving what you do because you're successful at it. So it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be like, I love to do this, and all of a sudden somebody's going to pay me to do it. And conversely, you don't always want to be on the negative side of things where you're just doing something for money. But I like what you said about making the emotional connection for these people, because we can explain the process to things and we can tell them what tools we use. And I can go into a car dealership and the guy can explain everything about the car and like all the little features and functions and all the little things. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like, how's the car going to make me feel?
Yeah.
So like, let's say you build a website for somebody, or we handle their marketing, we make them money, and we can tell them about all the logistics and all the little components and how everything fits together. But like, they're thinking in their mind, is this going to give me more money to spend more time with my family? Is this going to set my kids up? Is this going to pay for health insurance and things like that?
Yeah.
So what you said is very important. Like, people don't, they care about these things. They want to know sometimes what happens behind the scenes, but it's like, how's this going to make me feel? Like, how is it going to make me
Yep.
feel? How's it going to make me comfortable, set my family up, and make me feel secure?
And even talking about that with like the websites too. So one of the biggest deep dives that I do with clients into like the reasoning why, not so much with like a business. I do it with a business if I have an idea for the business, but the biggest one that I've found that's really helpful with this is when it comes to like e-commerce. So I've set up quite a few e-commerce stores, and a lot of people, when they reach out to me for a store, they want to build a store. I first ask them, what are you passionate about? And they look at me like, "What do you mean? What am I passionate about?" I'm like, "Well, e-commerce only works in two different ways. There's two ways that e-commerce store is going to work out. You either have a very unique product that you created yourself and you build yourself, which therefore means you're passionate about it because it's yours, or you follow trends and you follow what's trending, what products are selling right there, and you're always changing the store and changing the product. So if you're not passionate about something, let's say if you're like, oh, I heard pet products are good to sell. Do you have a pet? No. Are you passionate about pet products? They're like, no. I'm like, then it's not going to succeed for you. You have to be passionate because the creativity is going to come to you. The research into what products you want to have in there is going to come out. You're going to have a pet where you can showcase those products. You have to be passionate about it. So that's why I asked them, like, what is your passion? And if they don't have one, then I'm like, okay, well, then the only option you have if you want to do e-commerce is trend setting, trend following. You got to follow what is, those fidget spinners that came out and they're hot for so long.
Yeah.
People made a lot of money off those. But because they follow the trends early enough when they first started coming out, they predicted it's going to make money. They put that product on their store and they marketed that. So there's two different aspects. So, but if I can not manipulate, but if I can utilize that concept of figuring out, are you passionate about this from e-commerce into everything? Like, why do you want this website for your business? What is this website going to do for you? Is it like I always ask them, like, one of my goals is what is question that I ask is what is the goal of the website? And they look at me, what do you mean, what's the goal? I'm like, do you want more leads? Do you want it to be informational? Are you trying to educate people on the website? Are you using this for a client acquisition? Like, what is the end goal of this? Because if you don't know what that is, I'm never going to be able to build you the site that you like.
Hmm.
I'll never be able to do it. So they have to be laser focused on the why. The why are they in the business? What is this website going to do? Why do they want this website? Why do they want this marketing? And if they don't have that, they're never going to be happy, which means the work that you do is never be good enough. So it's going to be this whole cycle of unhappy client, unhappy developer, unhappy client, unhappy developer. So you have to really it's almost as if we're like coaches in a sense. Even though we're not actually coaches, we have to coach them into finding out what their why is. Why do they even want us? What do they want our services for? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like I just can't maybe realize right now, like I've kind of feel like a coach in a
Yeah,
sense.
in a sense, we have been to a lot of people just by default, because at a certain age, we've both done a lot of really stupid things. So who's better to tell
Yeah.
somebody what to do? But one of the things that we do to do for a discovery call, which again, if anybody watched the episode on meetings, meetings are usually not worth it, but the initial discovery call is very important. Is you
Mhm.
ask the client, and this goes for other types of jobs too, not just marketing. You ask the client, is like, explain your business to me, why you're doing it, in your own words. And it doesn't have to be like a sales pitch. Some people are good at pitching, some are not. And you can learn a lot from somebody just by the energy they have when they're talking about their business. And if it looks like it's something they're just throwing together to make money, for example, somebody wants to put out an NFT. I'm picking on that right now. If somebody wants to put out an NFT or something like that,
Yeah.
which actually reminds me of what we were talking about before. Somebody wants to build something with dragon eggs. It's a long story we'll get into later. But well, actually, that guy is fucking passionate about everything he does. That's the scary part.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he's
no,
very passionate.
yeah. But some people do they just want to churn. Obviously, anybody can go online, make get a payment processor, have a website built these days, and churn things out. But how sustainable is that? And is it really something that you're going to stick with? And like you mentioned, when things don't go right, they don't blame themselves. They
No.
blame everybody around them.
Yeah, and there's one tactic I learned in coaching was it's called the five whys. You got to ask yourself why five times, or someone has to ask you five times, right? So if I said, hey, why are you in the business that you're in?
That's a good question.
Why did you decide to move to Mexico?
That's super easy. The climate up here is brutal in the wintertime, and I had a really good experience in Mexico before. But I will answer the one about marketing
Yeah.
as
Okay.
well. I actually like when I can make other people money, when I can help them do things, and I actually
Okay.
it's fun to do. Now all the process behind that, some of the things we have to do are boring and arduous and tedious,
Yeah.
but actually taking somebody who's got a product or something they want to sell, and then the way we're able to take that and help them make money doing it, that is awesome because it just makes you
Yeah.
feel good, you know.
Why? So why does it make you feel good?
You know how it feels good to do things for others, whether it's holding a door for somebody you don't know, maybe donating to charity, which, you know, those are different things, but just in human nature, I think it just feels good to do something for somebody. Now, yes, it's a paid relationship if somebody pays us to help them, but I think just seeing it work and getting somebody's vision of what they have, putting it in front of the market, and then having it take off just feels good across the boards, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, if I would have done this three more times, you could have gone a lot deeper into the reason why. But you initially started off with like, I like doing this for people, and then it is because it makes me feel good. So if you keep diving down that rabbit hole, you eventually
Mm-hmm.
find your why. So if you start asking yourself like, why do I want this pet store? It's like, well, I want to make money. Well, why do you want to make money? Because it'll help pay for bills. Well, why do you want to pay for bills? Well,
Mm-hmm.
so it'll give my family a better lifestyle. Well, why does that matter? Because I want to do the best for my family. So your actual reason why for a
Mm-hmm.
pet store is to take care of your kids. But a lot of
Yeah.
people they're only focusing on the first why, like, oh, I want a store. But why? So if you keep asking, going down this trail, you can really hone in on that pinpoint example as to why do you want to do this. So it might not even be related to pets. It might be completely different. It might be because your grandmother is in a hospice or something that you want to take care of her. So that's your why. And once you
Mm-hmm.
get honed in on that why, it's going to make everything else seem so much easier because it's going to give you that motivation to go from there to there.
And some of this is because, you know, we have similar situations where we both worked some pretty crappy jobs in the
Oh
past. I
yeah,
mean, good jobs, and all respect to people who do those things now, but I couldn't do any more dangerous work. I know you've done a lot of dangerous work. I couldn't do any more cubicle work or commuting or wearing a suit. So part of my why, or part of all of our whys, is like, I have to work remotely now. That's just my thing. I need to have the freedom of doing that. Wake up, put on gym clothes every day, do whatever. That's in there as well, and that applies to quality of life,
yeah.
and how you spend your day. You know.
Yeah, and I think that's a good place to leave off there is
Yeah.
telling people that to ask yourself why. Ask yourself why 5 times. And what if you take it seriously and you start diving into it, if you be authentic with it. Don't just be like, "Oh, I want money." Well, even if that is your answer, why do you want money? You can always trail down and find out. And once you get honed in on that, it's going to make every decision you make going forward so much easier in life. It's going
Yeah.
to really help you
100%.
out.
And you don't have to ask yourself the questions and answer them in the same day. You can sleep on it, give it some time, but
Write them down
it's
in a notepad.
yeah, that really does help. All right, everybody. Next time you see us, we'll be wearing different clothes. I fucking promise. So to be
Finally.
continued. Yeah.